Hello friends, today in this video I will explain about how hydrogen purging is done our thermal power plant in our generator. So what are the steps followed in hydrogen purging? I will follow. Okay, see, first I will just describe. I'm taking a scheme where generator is running normally. Okay, see, there's a pressure of 3.41 kc in generator casing and dryer is also in service. This is the S2 filling manifold from the S2 filling room. These are distribution cylinders. Here is the manifold. You can take either this or this for filling, and you can just fill. This is a filling side, and along with that there is a CO2 distribution board with the help of CO2 operator. Then you can fill CO2. This is a normal scheme. Okay, first I will discuss what are the pre-purging checklists should be there. Okay, as you know, our hydrogen rotor is cooled through hydrogen because it's having a very good cooling characteristics. So what are the prerequisites? Well, S2 purging is to be done in two cases. Like while you are taking a unit for shutdown purpose, then S2 has to be purged out. And the other case, and if there is a station blackout or any emergency occurs where S2 pressure is not maintaining, or there might be a situation where your seal oil system is not adequate or not developing pressure or not able to contain the hydrogen, then you have to purge the hydrogen. For that, first I will discuss the normal procedure, and then after I will also consider a situation where there is a condition you have to emergency purge the hydrogen out. Well, I'm just considering a normal procedure how hydrogen is purged from CO2 and CO2 from air. Okay, for that, here the pre-purging checklist should be there. Pre-purging, see, okay, I will just note some points side by side. See, what are the pre-purging checklist? Okay, see, what you have to take first, that your generator may be either on bearing gear. See, may be either on bearing gear. Okay, or at a standstill position. This is the first requisites. Like you have to ensure that either your turbine TG generator side is on bearing gear, or either it is in a standstill condition or the 0 RPM. See, second condition, along with that you also consider that vacuum is also killed in this case. Okay, so at least if you are taking 500 megawatt unit, at least 60 CO2 cylinders would be in filling room. Okay, third, I'm just considering for a 500 megawatt unit. Okay, third, there should be an arrangement of hot water on CO2 cylinder. So because CO2 might get freeze, so for that CO2 cylinder is for CO2 cylinder heat arrangement should be there. For that you can take any tapping from your feed water circuit or a condensate circuit and use it for the CO2 cylinder heating. Okay, another 4, you should be having a non-sparking tools for opening of CO2 cylinders, because you are going in a circuit where H2 is also there, there might be a spark in there, so any explosion or any unwanted hazard can happen, so that you have to ensure that you are having your non-sparking tools like spanners and other fittings to open the CO2 cylinders. Along with that, you have to ensure that your CO2 flash, CO2 flash evaporator is ready in operation. Okay, so availability of CO2 flash evaporator to be checked. Along with that, you have to check all the sort of valves at S2 cylinder rack manifold and S2 cylinders are intact and closed. You have to also ensure that S2 cylinder rack and all valves at S2 manifold are already intact. Okay. Along with that, you have to also ensure the availability of serial system along with necessary protection interlock. Okay. Availability of serial system. Okay. Along with that also, keep bearing chamber adjuster fan in service as long as S2 is there inside the generator. This is a very important point. As there is S2 cylinder is in service, as S2 gas in generator is in there, you have to, H2 gas is there, then you have to have the bearing chamber exhaust fans in service up to the point that where H2 cylinder is always in hydrogen gas. Okay. So also after that, for normal purging, you have to take clearance from the concerned department like electrical maintenance, turbine maintenance and C&I maintenance before starting any purging condition. This is a normal procedure steps. Okay. Along with that, you have to select CO2 S2 purity transmitter to measure 0 to 100% CO2 in S2 with the help of C&I. You need C&I instrument help for changing H2 to CO2, CO2 to air impurity. Okay, with help of C&I. Along with that also, you have to inform the electrical maintenance department so that it will help in deploying the manpower if there is any problem occurs while filling or purging out S2. Okay, these are prerequisites you have to ensure. I am just taking a manifold station diagram where you can see how S2 is filled. Like in your thermopower plant, you will see this sort of arrangement is there. See here, this valve is air inlet valve. Okay. This is hydrogen inlet valve. This is the position. You have to ensure like this handle should remain in the condition as per the logic. Well, you have to, whenever you want to fill your hydrogen in the system, the cylinder should be like this. See, this cylinder should be moved like this and cylinder like this. Okay, see in this. Okay, but when you don't want to fill any hydrogen, then you have to ensure that hydrogen is in this position. See, and when you want to purge out your hydrogen, this cylinder this handle will move in the direction and this will show in this position. See, vertical position. So there are three positions of hydrogen cylinder hydrogen valve. So it's a three-way valve is there. So you can also see in this H2 side handle position diagram. Same is the case with CO2 side handle position. See, CO2 filling line, CO2 isolate line and CO2 purging line. This is a common casing vent of hydrogen generator casing vent. Okay, this is a common casing vent where you have to purge out your hydrogen. Okay, this is a normal procedure where you can see different arrangement are there in the circuit. So you have either you want to fill a hydrogen, CO2, or CO2 purge out, air purge out, or hydrogen purge out, whatever is there, you have to do the handle position, okay, and the regulate with the casing vent. See, now I will discuss how we are going how we are going to purge out our hydrogen with the CO2. First, what we have to ensure? For that, you have to ensure that your H2 and CO2 valve is in vent position. See, you want to purge out hydrogen with CO2. For that, the vent position of both hydrogen and CO2 should be in vent position. Okay, handle should be in vent position. See, vertical downward. See, so valve should be of like this. This handle should be in this direction, and this handle should be in this direction. See, okay. Now the hydrogen handles is in this direction, or we can say the vent position is selected. Okay. Now after that, you have to open the casing vent. This is the casing vent. You open the casing vent and reduce the pressure from 3.5 kc, that is the design pressure of hydrogen running, 3.5 kc to 0.5 kc. See, by opening this valve, you have to open this valve. Okay, then what will happen? 3.5 kc pressure will drop to 0.5 kc pressure. See, this is second step. First step, you have to take in vent position. Another patient, you have to just depressurize your generator up to 0.5 kc. Now what you will do? Now CO2 valve should be in filling condition. Okay, remain this is in vent position. Again, your handle was in the, CO2 handle was in this position, right? So what you will do? You have to move to this point. Okay, the cylinder, the handle of CO2 should be in this direction. Okay, now CO2 cylinder is in filling condition, and hydrogen is already in vent position. Okay, now, okay, the hydrogen is in vent position and CO2 is in filling condition. Okay, here after depressurizing, you might have closed your casing vent. Now what you will do? Okay, now switch on SLC of CO2 evaporator. Wait until the temperature reaches 150 degrees centigrade. See, where the SLC I have already shown you. See, this is the CO2 evaporator. Now you have to make on that CLC, and then its temperature will reach to 150 degrees centigrade. Okay, see, this step has been completed. Okay, now you have to open the shut off valves at CO2 cylinder rack and CO2 cylinder rack manifold. Okay, the filling room valves, now you have to open it. Okay, from here this open, and after that this open, and make it to that point up to manifold point. Okay, now your CO2 is lined up to this point. Okay, this is coming from filling room. Up to that point your CO2 has been lined up. Okay, what will happen next? Okay, well, while taking your cylinders in the manifold, distribution manifold, you have to ensure that your cylinder should be in hot condition, like you have to pour the hot water on it. Okay, so hot water should be continuously poured over the cylinders and CO2 line to keep them warm. Okay, so after that replace empty cylinder by full cylinders. Okay, It will take around approximately CO2 cylinders is around 35 numbers to purge out the hydrogen. Well, when, as you know, your pressure was at the after depressurizing was around 0.5 kSc. Now you have to fill your CO2 up to say 1 kSc or 0.9 kSc. Okay, take you have to precise to 1 kSc. Okay. Now when casing pressure rises to 1 kc, then again you have to open the casing vent. Now casing vent has been opened, and you have to bring again 2.5 kc. Okay. Okay. Continue this process until at least 2 consecutive samples has reached a purity of 98% CO2 in H2. 98% CO2 in H2. Okay. Okay. First fill up to 1 kc, then depressurize up to 0.5 kc, and repeat this process until you get the 2 consecutive samples where purity will show 98% has CO2 and H2. Well, after getting purity of 98%, purge the LLD. You have to liquid detectors there in the system. You have to purge them out. Okay. Run the blower for both hydrogen dryers and blow off the accumulator gas inside the dryers. Now dryer should be purged out too. When CO2 and H2 reaches 98%, cross check with chemist and get clearance from chemist for stopping CO2 filling. And after starting CO2 purging with dry air, then if filling can be stopped and CO2 pressure inside generator is to maintain around 0.5 kc. See, at the 98%, when you have reached 98% CO2 and S2, then what you will do? After that, you have to line up the system so that CO2 can be purged out. Okay, for that air connection should be, air filling should be done. Now, before that, what you have to do? As you have reached 98% of CO2, now you have to switch off the SLC of CO2 flash evaporator, isolate its power supply, close the valve and CO2 supply line. Okay, disconnect all the CO2 cylinder from the filling header. Now you can just after reaching say 0.5 kc and 98% CO2, you might isolate this too. You take this isolate position and this isolate position, and casing remained intact at 0.5 kc. Now what will you have to do? Now CO2 should be cut off finally. Okay? After that, what you have to do? Procedure for replacing purging out CO2 with air. See, there is an air inlet valve is there. Before behind this there is a air filling line hose is there, where you have to drain out the moist air for roughly 1 hour to 2 hours so that the dew point improves. Okay. Now your instrument air is, you have to take instrument air for that, because instrument air is having a lower dew point. Okay. So dew point here has been checked by chemist, and now it is ready to be fill in condition. Now, well, prior to commencing air filling generator casing, the instrument air connection provided for this purpose is to be kept open for about half an hour to drain off any moisture or oil in the line. Now, okay, what you will do? You have to move this cylinder, this handle to again to vent position. See, okay. And this you should have to put this cylinder to closed condition or isolate condition. See. Now connect the instrument air supply line between compressed air filter and keep the manual valves open. Now adjust the casing vent valve to maintain a casing pressure of about 0.5 to 1 kSc. Now 0.5 kSc to 1 kSc you have to maintain by modifying this, and as air filling is already connected and you have taken vent should in vent condition. Okay, after about 2 hours, chemist may be asked to take sample for finding percent of CO2 in air, as air is filling and CO2 is continuous vent condition. Okay, so chemist will take sample after 2 hours. Okay, when CO2 in air reaches 0%, see, when CO2 in air reaches 0%, the CO2 has been driven out of the generator. Okay, now cross check with chemist and get clearance for declaring completion. Okay, run the blower for S to dry and blow out the CO2 inside the dryer also. Now purge the LLD also. Now again you have to purge the CO2 from LLD and dryer also. Now close the shut-off valves and disconnect the compressed air line. Now disconnect hose connection between compressed air filter and shut-off volume. Then keep continuous air filling of generator venting of 0.5 kc. When you reached air percent purity, then you have to the keep continuous air filling generator and vent out 0.5 kc pressure for about 12 years. Okay, subsequently keep open generator manuals for about 24 hours. Okay, so this is how your hydrogen is purged out from by CO2 and CO2 by air. Okay, this is a normal procedure. In emergency you have to follow these steps, but in a very hectic manner. Okay, so here I have discussed how hydrogen is purged out from CO2 and CO2 by air for unit going for an overhaul or any problem that might occur. Okay, thank you. Hope you like this video and keep supporting. Thank you.